You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Welcome to the 434th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, and we are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. And joining me on the show tonight, we've got Jess. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
And also Ray. What's going on, Ray?
Hello, hello.
And Jess is joining us fresh off of an appearance over there on our buddy's show, the Game Stack. How did Game Stack go tonight, Jess?
Well, we took a few more games off the stack. It was a great time over there with Vendor and Shalene. It's, believe it or not, and I know you guys might not believe this, ended up talking a lot of Starfield.
Nuh-uh.
Maybe more than I should have. Afterwards, they laughed and they said, no, that's why we asked you on. But there is so much to say about that game, as regular listeners know. So yeah, we talked about that. News of the day. Had a great time.
What's in your stack now? Is it just Starfield, Field, Starfield, Starfield?
Really, as far as what I'm playing right now, yeah. I mean, y'all hear about the games I'm playing weekly. So there are other games mixed in. But as far as on the backlog stack, I've actually bought a few games, and obviously, Cyberpunk 2077 had the big update. You know, you got Ray in there playing it. So that is, I actually have it installed at this point. I've got a couple games installed. Got that. Got the new Assassin's Creed, which Mirage looks excellent. Old school Assassin's Creed. And Baldur's Gate 3 will be out on Xbox this year. So, you know, those are kind of gonna fit all those in this year. Maybe, if I ever stop playing Starfield for even a minute.
I don't think you will for a minute.
I don't know. There's a lot. It's a big game.
What's the longest that you played a new Bethesda game and shunned all of your other stack?
You know, if we don't count 76, because that is a little bit special, being a live service game and friends and ongoing, and we're podcasting about it. Yeah. I would say the longest I did straight was probably 3 months. First playthrough Fallout 4, a good at least 3 months, and then, of course, back for all the DLC as it came out. Skyrim, at least 3 months, and then back for all the DLC. So I think that's probably my normal frame for Bethesda games, but 76, obviously, much longer. I mean, that was really 2 years I had to touch another game until Mass Effect Legendary came out. It was at least 2 years, maybe 3 before I got back to regular. Oh, I play other games too, habits.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, I had Lego Star Wars and stuff mixed in as I played with, you know, my wife and stuff, because she didn't, you know, play the Fallout games. But I think I'm along the same lines with Fallout 4. It's like, I don't measure that in months. It was more of a year's investment of time, the Fallout 4.
The thing about us is we play things very deeply. And I mean, I know Ray jokes about having more time now, but he's still... Like, you still play so in depth. I mean, that's why we podcast about it. I like to joke that we go slow because we're actually learning everything about the game as we go. You know, a lot of people will play Surface and be like, oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I didn't catch that. So we play very thoroughly.
Absolutely. Oh, you guys. Tonight on the show, we're going to get into some gameplay off the top here. Jess has prepared a requisite Fallout topic because
it's a new segment on the show.
It's a Fallout podcast, so we actually have to discuss some Fallout for some reason, I guess. Then we got a little bit of iguana bits and a shout or two on the way out the door. So let's go ahead and roll into it a little bit. Ray, did you get a chance to play any video games this week, sir?
I did play video games this week.
Did you play some
I will
Cyberpunk?
Emphasize the plural.
Plural, more than just Starfield?
I did. I've been working on some character stuff in No Man's Sky.
Nice.
Coming off of the expedition. I do need to get off my butt and actually publish the episode that we recorded last week.
You've got it tougher than the rest of us, than Jess and I do, Ray, because, you've got like 6 or 7 different podcasts. And, when Starfield overtakes and you have to dedicate all your time playing Starfield, Jess and I just ignore one podcast, but you have to ignore like 4 or 5 different podcasts.
So fortunately, all my cohorts over at the Skyrim Addict are also
they're also
into Starfield.
They're sucked into outer space as well.
Yeah,
it is relevant to their interests.
Yeah, but and the space podcast. How could we not talk about space?
Exactly. But it's the wrong space.
It was really not any big stretch. So
I've loved hearing about Baker's adventures,
yes.
In space. And he's been chiming on the Discord a lot too. Definitely into that game.
Oh, yeah.
So how about you? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so a bulk of my time has been in Starfield.
Well, that's great. I was going to bounce the same question off of you there, Ray. What's the longest that you've played one game? Not necessarily just Bethesda game, but like when a game comes out, what's the longest that you've dedicated yourself to that and only played that for the most part?
So
one of your submarine games or something?
Yeah, the submarine game was that was at least 2 years.
Wow, yeah.
That I played nothing but Silent Hunter 3. And then I played Fallout 4 exclusively until the Skyrim Special Edition came out. So
is there still a culture around? You said it was called Silent Hunter. Is that the submarine title?
Yeah, there is, and I'm still in touch with those guys a little bit, but there's a big modding community around that too. So that's where most of the community lies, is in the modding groups.
We kind of know what that's like. I mean, we're still playing Skyrim. How many ever years later? When did Skyrim come out? Was that 2011? Yeah, it's been a good 12 years. The only reason that there's still life being blown into that game, well, besides it being an excellent game, it's like people can still bring life to it via all the cool new mods and everything that people develop. So yeah.
Yep, and the Creation Club, and of course the re-releasing with additional content again and again and again. That doesn't hurt. This last one, Anniversary Edition, all of that, so much.
Yeah.
So Silent Hunter 3 was released March 15th, 2005.
Oh Lord. And it's still is there 4 and 5 and 6 by now?
There was 4. So Silent Hunter 3 was German U-boats.
Mm-hmm.
4 was U.S. U-boats, and then in 5 it went back to German U-boats.
I don't think in the U.S. we call them. I don't think we call them U-boats, right?
But yeah, it's it's a pretty amazing community. So,
do they have like a DLC with a monitor versus Merrimack?
No.
Okay.
They do, but they do. I mean, they've modded in a lot of different stuff, and the game is very malleable.
Okay.
And so, there's a lot you can do with scripting and everything in the game to create all kinds of different stuff, and the models are all there. So
I'm glad it's a game you can go back to.
Well, the problem is I don't have a computer that's old enough to run it in anymore.
It's funny with old games, like when you have to find like the GOG version of some games, and obviously there aren't for everything. So you start running things like MoSlow or DOSBox to get things to run.
Yeah.
Like, how can I slow my computer, especially in your case, Ray, but how can I slow my computer down enough to run this?
Yeah, that's actually funny because in the analytical science world, like I used to be an analytical chemist, and we had a couple of different computers. We're like, okay, we can't put this online because we're scared it's going to get a virus, and the instrument that we have hooked up to it to do the analysis work is so old that they don't make software for it anymore. So if this computer goes down, we can no longer use this instrument anymore. It's like the instrument is 30 years old and we're using, Windows from, 1998 or something. It's like, don't update this computer ever. Don't get it online. You'll ruin everything. Got to keep the old PCs. All right, so what else have you been playing there, Ray?
So I've been working on the No Man's Sky and playing Starfield. I tried to start up my Roundtable character because I wanted to get the Red Rocket settlement, and I wanted to go back and see if there was anything worthwhile in my tribute chests. But
did those continue filling?
Yeah, they put stuff in on the regular.
I just got the one notification. I thought that was it.
Now all of your all the settlements that you took over in the Commonwealth also send you tribute.
Oh.
So,
that's a lot of tribute. I mean, not that we need it, unless it's stim packs or more carry weight.
Yeah, give me a backpack with a 50-pound boost, please.
But that's awful that the character you've been running for so long is now having an issue.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it has to do with the. So I was prompted to update the script extender, and after I did that, the game would not load anymore. It just sits there and spins and spins. So,
like a record, baby, right round.
Yep, round.
That's no good, man. So, can you revert to play it, or once an update happens?
Yeah, I'll have to play around with it a little bit. Unfortunately, my hurdle height for not playing Starfield instead
very low.
And so I wasn't willing to lift my foot up over the weed to get that going. I just went back to
just so easy.
You could roll over it right in your chair, right in your wheeled chair. Just roll right over that bar.
I mean, that game's already working and you're having so much fun at it, so why, put in all the effort?
Yeah. So I did have a good time. I guess what was it, Wednesday? I had a rare opportunity to do some streaming, and so I introduced my character Batosai.
Wait a second, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, Batosai was his Fallout melee character for one of the roundtables.
Yeah, for 76 roundtable.
That's right.
I had been, that name got rolled with the generator because it's one of the ones that was, on the list that Codsworth would say. So Steve put it in there. And when I looked it up to see what the heck it was, because I'd never heard of, Batosai, I found out that it's an anime character. And so I started watching the anime, and they were a lot of fun. I watched all the there's 3 different live action movies of it, and so I fell in love with Batosai. So
is the show and movies, are they just called Batosai, or is that a character in the show?
So Batosai the Manslayer is Kinjin's.
That's an awesome name.
previous moniker. So he was a samurai during the Civil War in Japan, and he was famous for killing everybody. And so after the war, he was disillusioned. He became a Ronin and just wandered the countryside. But instead of his regular bladed katana, he uses a reverse blade. So when he hits you with his sword, it's like a blunt instrument instead of a sharp instrument. And so he goes around knocking people out instead of killing them. Now, you can't duplicate that really, although it would be fun in Starfield because they do have EM weapons in Starfield. So, they could have an EM sword that you could just whack people with and disable them instead of killing them. So instead of using the rifle, but got to the big thing there was that I was working on how to really maximize the stealth melee mechanic, um, and so I've been having a lot of fun playing around with that, discovering exactly how effective it can be. It's very frustrating at the start, but with a little bit of perseverance and the creative abuse of small furry woodland creatures,
The grubs, killing those grubs.
you can turn yourself into a rather formidable stealth force. So I was playing around with that. I ran through a couple of pirate layers on stream to demonstrate what you could get to, um, with the right perk investments. So
Explain.
It's amazing how powerful it can be. Getting to watch you stream that and see, how you built the character. I mean, obviously leveling up and getting more skills in general help, but I you don't know how powerful some of them are until you see them in action and the way they synergize. The additional stuff for criticals, the difference that full 100% stealth makes. There you have a perk that makes it so you're chameleon when you're not visible, when you're not moving. I mean, is that one of them?
Yeah. So it's I think that was concealment. The third rank of concealment gives you permanent chameleon. So you don't have to be wearing any chameleon armor. You can be, just wearing plain clothes and have your spacesuit off, which is helpful because, the weight is a very big factor in stealth in Starfield. So just the fact that you're wearing a spacesuit and a helmet and a backpack impedes your stealth until you get your level 3 spacesuit design and can add gravitic composites to your spacesuit and
that's
helmet.
so good. Yeah, I think helmet might be helmet mods too. I was able to get it on helmet before I got it on spacesuit. Now I have it on both, and man, what a boon that across the board.
Yeah. So it, when you first start out with stealth, you need to, as much as possible, be in just street clothes. So physically take off your helmet and your backpack and your spacesuit, because that helps you maximize stealth. But getting that gravitic composite definitely makes it more viable everywhere. So if you're if you're on a planet where you have to wear protection to be able to survive, with those mods on your suit and helmet, you can you can still have maximum stealth, even with the heavy stuff on.
If you have the chameleon effect on your helmet, but not your spacesuit, when you crouch, does your head disappear?
So, yes.
No way.
I
really?
don't know if it was a bug or what, but I was wearing a chameleon helmet, but just a standard spacesuit, and I went and went to sit down in the pilot seat, and you've got that third person animation that plays of you sitting down and
Getting in the seat. Yeah.
getting the seat and everything, and I had no head.
Oh my goodness, that's
the
fantastic.
best.
The headless horseman.
So
Or-
then I put on a spacesuit with chameleon, and I was always completely invisible. Even when I was sitting in the cockpit, it made me invisible.
It's interesting how that can stick to characters. Obviously, Andreja, one of the companions in Starfield, has the chameleon ability. And she's the one that you see the most often people posting headless photos of because she will go invisible crouch back to, visible, invisible, visible, invisible, visible. And sometimes it sticks on the head. And so she's just, a cute black dress and no head. And the only way to fix it seems to be fast traveling usually. And then it will come back. But
Yeah.
All right, so vice versa then. If you have the chameleon spacesuit, but normal helmet, are you just like zombie floating around over there? Like,
I wish.
I didn't check that part out, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Mechaleka high, Ray. Mechaleka high.
But yeah, so and then I've been I've been pretty frustrated with the save situation and the characters.
Why so? What's up?
Well, so because I don't care about achievements, I wasn't worried about running modded saves. But the thing that I didn't realize when I started doing that was that the game separates those saves. I don't know where. So they're still in my save file. And if I go into all saves, I can find them. So characters that I thought I had lost are actually still there and accessible. But their names don't show up in the list. And I had inadvertently added mods to Cletus, the space trucker. And so I have his name in the list, but when I click on that, it takes you to the last save for that character that was unmodded. Which was at like level 12, and now he's at level 36.
Oh, Lord. That's a big difference.
But I can go back and find a save for him and still play him. So it prompted me to adopt a new tactic, which is name your ships after your characters, so that when it says saved on Cletus, I know which character that is. And so I've been able to manage somewhat with that, but it's really aggravating. It's very frustrating to, because normally what I would do would be to, play a few hours on this character and then switch up and go to another character and do, because each one of them are specialized in different things. And so in order to, examine these different mechanics, I would go to that character and explore, the power of shotgun builds or pistol builds or, rifle builds. And, but because I added mods, they're no longer as simple as just clicking on their name. So
please tell me that one of your space trucker Cletus's mods is for space lot lizards.
No.
Oh, come
That's
on.
my Mama Murphy mod over in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. So, explain to me, Jess dropped something about grubs about 15 minutes ago. What? It sounds like an inside joke. What's happening with your grubs?
So when you're trying to level up, certain stealth, skills, it requires you to do sneak attacks with melee weapons, or actually in the first level. So this is martial arts. So in the martial arts, you have to do like 100 damage with your fists. And so if you are going through a cave system, because you're also working on your sneak attacks for concealment or stealth, then you want to save the hard targets for your sniper attacks, so that because you can get 4 or 5 sneak attacks in on one character if they're high enough level. But if you need to punch somebody, punch a grub, because they're these squishy little things crawling through the cave, and they're fairly oblivious, and it makes them an easy target.
Yeah, punch 2. They're small.
So, and then so Lee's teasing me about punching trees. So that's a No Man's Sky thing. In order to save on resources in No Man's Sky, I punch trees to collect the carbon from them.
I've seen that move in Kung Fu
using
movies.
My mining beam.
I've seen that move in Kung Fu movies where, warriors will toughen up their knuckles on,
hitting a hard target.
Yeah, hitting hard surfaces like trees, for instance, in order to toughen up their hands. You're just training yourself.
Yeah. So the little grubs, they've served their purpose. I no longer torment them when I'm going through, because I've maxed out all those skills. So,
all right. So the most important question about your stream, Ray, was it silent? Were you speaking?
No, I did confirm. I did in fact have audio in this.
Your audio was working. It's not just a peaceful walk up the misty mountain.
Yeah. Or, me thoughtfully explaining in detail my, my character decisions
to your cat. That's hilarious.
It was very audible and very good. And the VOD is saved on the page. It'll be there for a couple weeks at minimum. Maybe I can highlight it so it stays. But yeah, I thought it was a great kind of tutorial on skills, because you went through not just the actual gameplay and doing it, but then thoughts behind some of the skills, and then a little bit of spaceships at the end.
Yeah. Well, I can't help myself.
I've got
No, how could
right
you?
Here. Your ship is really neat looking.
They all are.
Yeah.
Well, so I have one that's a work in progress. It is not so neat looking right now. But so one of the ships that Cletus is working on is a submarine.
Oh, that will be really, really cool, though. The idea of a space sub. I love that.
Yeah. So we have the basic frame set up, but just trying to make it look like something other than a weird. It looks kind of like those glitch ships that people built to try to keep themselves from being shot by having no center of mass.
Oh, right. You were explaining about that. That's funny.
But yeah, so that's one of my works. That's why I'm trying to level him up as much as I can to get access to all the parts. So
very cool. I imagine we'll get into a little more Starfield chat. You been playing anything else there, Ray?
That's about it.
Sweet, sounds good. How about you, Jess? Did you get a chance to play any video games this week? Or actually,
I did.
Actually, it'd be 2 weeks because we actually didn't record last week. Thanks for letting me. Took my kid to the fair and we rode some rides and stuff. So,
did y'all have a good time?
Oh, wonderful time. It was great. Yeah.
For people wonder what they're missing, Ray and I still got together and chatted, but we're like, let's not make it a podcast.
And I couldn't,
like, let's take the night off. And then, no, we need to talk about Starfield.
I couldn't believe it that they bothered talking without recording it, you guys. Like, what? What's the point of having a conversation if you can't put it out there for everyone to hear, right? Come on.
We missed you. We missed you. I missed both of your faces, so at least I got Ray and a kitten. So very worth it.
Yeah, he always shuts the kitty out. We never get any kitty shots during the show. Poor kitty.
Yeah. Well, because she's a menace.
Just start knocking the desk stuff over.
What does this key do? What does that key do? Ooh, look at this. Oh, I got that one up there.
Yeah, you're describing Otter right now. I'm going to shoo him away from the keyboard every night.
But I'm glad you guys had a good time at the fair. Those late summer fairs are fantastic on a crisp evening, kind of holding on to the end of summer, beginning of fall.
It was it was like end of fall, beginning of winter. It was like
it cold?
45 degrees in Indiana last weekend. It's back up to 80 again already, but like
you're out there on like the tilt-a-whirl or something, just freezing your butt off in the cold.
And Mo's like, I'm cold. I'm like, grow up. Come on, be a man. Ride some rides. Poor kid.
Nothing staves off cold like adrenaline.
Like screaming for your life. Yeah, he rode lots of big kid rides. I was pretty surprised about how throw caution to the wind he's gotten. So, all right, Jess, back to your gameplay there. What have you been getting?
So 2 weeks. I actually got some Fallout in there. I think I mentioned that I was getting midway through the board, a little over last time. I'm now at like level 98 on the board. So
nice.
Scorecation awaits. That I did do the weeklies the last 2 weeks, and I bought a few levels again. I will admit, I think this board I have bought more than any board except the second, when I think I hit around 60, and I just bought the rest to get the glass walls.
What is higher, your current season scoreboard level or your Starfield character level?
My current season scoreboard level is higher.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not yet 98. Leveling it takes a while as you keep on going in Starfield, especially if you're not playing that many main quests, which, as we've talked about, I'm not. I'm doing everything but.
Mm-hmm. Everything but.
But I got into 76, got some fun Fallout events and saw the crew for a little bit, saw the gang, still ramming the roads in the wasteland. Had to check out, obviously, the Atom Shop to see the new kits and the Halloween items that came in. We got a nice rack.
I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack.
The kind you lay on and stretch. You get stretched. It's that was really funny. It's actually a tinker's bench. We also got like a manacle where you get chained to the wall and you hang down. Basically, it's like dungeon stuff. So all kinds of like cool dungeon stuff. Votives, a bunch of candles. That's really cool. So yeah, some good Halloween stuff. The old Halloween stuff made a comeback. So it's already pretty good.
That's amazing. I don't, but I long for the days when, do you remember when they would release Christmas stuff 3 days after Christmas?
We still joke about it. I mean, it's not just here on the show, obviously we do, but yeah, in a couple of my circles, like it's still a thing. We expect Halloween stuff the day before Halloween. We expect Christmas stuff, 3 days after that one year.
I can't.
That was by far the worst. Usually it's only a week or two before, but
Yeah,
we're getting some.
we're a good. What is today? Oh no, it's Friday the 13th. Ooh, but
Yeah,
in
it is
October,
literally tonight.
super spooky. So yeah, we're at least a couple of weeks out from Halloween. I'm amazed they released stuff that soon. That's great.
They've really, the last couple of years, they've done good. That haunted house kit we got 2 years ago with the vines, that was the first week.
Yeah.
Last week we had some decorations the first week. They've gotten much better. Now they do still kind of stretch it out. So like you'll still get some 3 weeks in and you're like, this would have been nice a couple weeks ago. But they're going to make it last. Still, it's worth it. The way they're going to make it last this time is with some of the new items for the sport. Because yes, we're actually getting a bunch of new items with the sports event.
Oh, nice. When does that actually start? Are we going to get 2 weeks of that or just 1 week?
October 24th to November 7th, I think. So that would be 2 weeks.
Okay, they should bump that a week earlier and cut it off.
Every year they've done this. Every year it's a week before Halloween and a week after. Yeah.
So weird. All right, so I need to hop in and get some of those items if I can.
Yeah, that'll be soon enough. And I'll go over some of what the items are in Iguana Bits later. So
cool.
Yeah, I got the lists. There's a preview, some people putting it together out there, data mining. Because, the PTS has been live for a bit, and we got an update. We got the update on Tuesday. Mostly quality of life stuff, nothing too huge. But people are in there checking out all the new items like they always do. That is kid in a candy store. A lot of what 76 is for us these days, as we know. Like, every couple months, you get a moderate to large update, maybe. But then between that, it's just the new items. It's the new stuff on the scoreboard.
Mm-hmm. I still want to go check out the Atomic Shop stretch 'em rack or whatever you were saying.
Well, you're getting to the point where people have been working on. So for those who haven't been in game much lately and are thinking about going back to check out the new, the regular events and then, of course, the sports when it happens, I would say, if you just jump in right now, this is a great time to start touring spooky camps.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of my friends started building a week or two ago on their spooky camps, whether they're streaming it or doing it for other reasons. So, yeah, if you hop in and you're looking around, you'll probably come across a number of haunted houses at this point. Some people bringing out old ones, but plenty of new ones.
Is there a typical map icon people are using to indicate? Is it just the pumpkin or something? To indicate their spooky camps?
I would say that it varies because people forget they have an icon a lot of the time. To be honest, but you can see the icon again if they got the candy bowl out. So that could be your big indicator.
Oh, right. Forgot about that. Is that going again?
My God.
And the challenges
back.
And such?
Yeah, we're going to have some challenges later on. Yes, later on in the month, there will be some Halloween challenges again, too. Got some info on that. But just like last year, there were some trick-or-treat challenges. We will have that stuff. But the music, you guys, the music is back. And as soon as we started talking, as soon as I said the words candy bowl, it's in my head.
She doesn't sound too excited about that, you guys.
Yeah. The best innovation they've done, one of the coolest innovations was actually adding music so you could locate the candy bowl in a camp. Also one of the worst.
It sticks in your head and drives you nuts.
I didn't get back in any Fallout 4, sadly, since we finished the roundtable. As much as I enjoyed the end, I do think to go back and finish the DLC and finish the survival run, I'm going to go back to right before I invaded the Commonwealth and go and try to finish the main story on my roundtable character. But I don't know when that's going to be because of, Starfield and everything else going on. And maybe we'll start another new roundtable soon enough. Maybe.
Starfield won't allow it, I don't think.
Ooh, well, games that will allow it, other spooky games. Redfall finally got an update in the last 2 weeks.
Nice.
We finally got a promised update. It's a big one. For people who have been wondering about checking out Redfall, and I've heard and others saying it's decent, it's fun with friends, it's a good shooter, not a whole lot of substance, but it's pretty. But we're waiting for better performance and such. It's now 60 FPS on console. That includes the Series S, which I was a little bit worried. I'm like, will it run as well on my Series S? But it does. I only crashed once last time I played, which you might say, once, but yeah, I crash every time I play at least once in 2-3 hours. And I think it's more because of the fact I play multiplayer, because I feel like that is maybe where the issue is. But yeah, it looks better. It runs smoother. They made a lot of changes where there are more enemies now. So it's a more living world. It's still kind of a theme park design. I mean, it's still Redfall. If you just didn't like the whole system, you probably still won't like it. But if you're waiting for better performance, or because you heard, oh geez, the enemy AI isn't great, well, it's definitely getting there now. So still been playing with friends. That's doing good. And then of course I played a lot of Starfield. I'm not going to belabor it forever tonight.
You can,
but
what are you getting into in Starfield?
Everything, you guys. I live there. I was really tired this week a bit. I've got some big projects going on. Last weekend, I worked a lot, Friday, Saturday, on getting some projects ready for stuff coming up. And when I was done with that, I can't do anymore. I want to play Starfield. Same with work days. Like I finished, a good long work day. I don't want to sit at the computer, do other productive things. I want to sit at the TV and play Starfield. It's totally different.
Do you have a set pattern yet? Do you log into Starfield and do A, B, and C before you get off and go start doing the other stuff? Do you have
no? It varies because I haven't. It's not at that point at all yet. I'm still just playing the game first playthrough. Yes, I'm over 200 hours now. I am over 200 hours. I still haven't gone to Neon. I know it's been 2 weeks since I updated y'all. I still haven't been to Neon. I know, but I did get with Samco. We did go to, I think last time we talked, I had just gotten to Tequila City and done a few things. Well, I'm most of the way through the Freestar Rangers quest line. I've done every side quest around Tequila City. I've done a lot of stuff around there. So yeah, exhausting that. At this point, my quest guide, I've done 99 quests. It says I've done 99 quests and 97 activities when I checked the other day. So there's a lot of quests in Starfield. There's more than you think.
She's done 99 quests, but a ship ain't one.
I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
A ship ain't one. It's so a couple of highlights to talk about recently. I am still building ships, but it's funny because as fun as that is, I'm trying to make more headway in the game itself on main quests. So, I finished the UC Vanguard quest line. I've done most of the Freestar quest line, like I said. A number of other side quests, really kind of wrapping up the story. I did get in. It sucks me in. You know how it is, Ray. So last night playing, I got on around 11 at night or so. And I'm like, I'm just going to play for a few hours until 3 a.m. But of course I played till 5 a.m. And I got in and I went to the Stroud Eklund Star Station for the first time, their shipyard. Actually, I went to Trident Shipyard for the first time because I hadn't been there. And there's some interesting characters there, but you can't actually buy Trident ships. They're not for us. They're too good for us. But
right.
I picked up a delivery mission for them anyway to get them some stuff because I'm still doing some of the trucker type of stuff occasionally. But then I went to Stroud Eklund because I hadn't been there yet, to their shipyard, which is in the Narian system, a little bit out of the way. But they had some good stuff. And I got in that shipbuilder and I started looking at the Stroud Eklund parts because, as y'all know, at the actual shipyards for the locations is where you get some of the boutique or cool parts you can't get elsewhere from manufacturers. So this is my first time getting to see some of their parts, even though I'd seen others. And I started rebuilding a ship. I was in that shipbuilder for 2 hours. Okay. By the time I was done and my price tag, I mean, I changed it a few times, but I was just going to do a few tweaks to see things. And it was at 210,000 credits. And so I made some more changes and got down to 199,000 credits or so. And I said, I'm not going to save it. And I backed out of that shipbuilder and didn't save a lick of 2 hours. That's how shipbuilders work.
Yeah, that is how they work.
But I designed it. I took some pictures because, the Stroud Eklund parts. What's interesting, Stroud Eklund are the parts that a lot of the Varun ships use. They paint them black and they have a different configuration so they don't look similar, but it's a lot of Stroud Eklund in their stuff. And the actual ships themselves look kind of like big old floating tubs, like ice cream bars. They're supposed to be modern, but they're kind of thick, But I came up with a design that's very fighter-esque. So when I have more credits, I might actually repeat it. I've been doing a lot of ship takeovers. So before I talked about how I hadn't rated ships in space much, and Ray had given me advice 2 weeks ago about how to approach ship battles in space to take over, because I was doing great at winning battles, but I wasn't taking over. Well, advice worked really well. Having a smaller ballistic or EMP tuned just for the ship battles that I use when I'm taking that over, that really helped and made a big difference. So At this point, I've got 9 ships. I'll have my 10th very soon, and that's after I think I mentioned I had lost one of my ships 2 weeks ago. I don't. That might have happened during the intervening 2 weeks, but the game, not just for me, other people have found that some things do disappear, and so I lost one of my ships and did a full bug report over to Bethesda. Filled out a ticket. I learned it from Alex and the best. Got to fill out a ticket when something goes wrong, so they know. But yeah, and my friend Charo and many others have had the bug issue where when New Atlantis, without any spoilers, New Atlantis will reset after the quest High Price to Pay. So if you get the fancy high-rise apartment before then and you put work in decorating it, expect that most of the time after you do High Price to Pay, the city resets, and that'll include your apartment, and your stuff will disappear.
I think we should go ahead and establish. You just gave a spoiler warning again. It's been out for a while, guys. I think it's time we can drop the
6 weeks. I won't spoil the big stuff, but yeah, the small stuff is
Yeah.
Y'all know I can say that things exist without saying why or what exactly happens.
People who are going to play the game have played the game. You know what I mean?
I got it's only been out 6 weeks though. There'll still be a lot of people coming to it. I got a bunch of so the ship's taking over a lot of Varun and even some Crimson Fleet stuff. So I'm taking missions to kill high level stuff. So I wipe out the Crimson Fleet captain. So it's actually a high level white, but it was titled Crimson Fleet Captain because that was the quest. And this ship is huge. I'm getting ships worth over 300,000 credits out of the gate. So that's a lot of fun.
When you say your ship disappeared, like you just went to the landing dock and it just wasn't there or something, or
not in the list.
It wasn't in the list, so it wasn't my home ship at the time.
Okay, I see.
But I only had 3 ships at the time, so it was the one I was proud of. I think right after last show, the first one I stole. After that I was proud of with Ray's advice. I made a few modifications. I saved it. And that was Monday, maybe. And then Wednesday, it had disappeared. So.
Does it happen more with ones that you have stolen versus purchased?
It seems to be a stolen in space bug more than not. Yeah. If it's going to happen, it's going to be ones that you stole in space.
Yeah. Had you registered that ship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. I had registered it. But I registered it from space. It's one of the ones I did that instead of at the station. But that's how you've been doing most of yours, right?
Yeah, that shouldn't matter.
Yep. So long story short about how it worked, I noticed that. So of course I start working my way back to see, oh, well, when did it disappear? And it's not on a save before and a save before. And I'm going all the way back and it's not showing up. It's just not there. Well, then I load into a save right after I'd gotten it. And the save was actually on the ship. The title of the save was Varun Him 3 because it titles either save with your location. That's kind of like the default. If you're on a spaceship or you're in a place, it'll title it that. When I loaded into that, the screen was just pure white. The ship not only didn't exist in my game, but at the point when I had it and had saved in it, the game files couldn't reference it. So I was in pure white. And then I went into photo mode to zoom out, and it was just me and a bunch of my characters all silhouetted in a field of white, like falling to their death, like just frozen and falling. Andresia and Sam and Barrett. And yeah, everybody falling. And you could see like the console. It was bizarre. So I'm like, okay. So even when I had the ship and made a save specifically in it, it can't load it. Well, I did science. And this is just people who are maybe have this happen to them, but haven't gone as far as I did. I found if I quit the game entirely, restarted my machine, loaded in, and the first save that I loaded was the one in that ship, it would load. I could arrive, I could get at the ship, and I was in it. If I loaded any save after that, it was gone. And if I loaded the ship save if I loaded another save first and then the ship save, so the game had already booted up, the ship was the field of white. It wasn't there. So somehow it essentially got deleted from the game files where if it loads a later save, it won't exist. If I load before or in directly, it'll be there. But that's the only way. It's so interesting.
Just sounds like you're in purgatory or something.
I think what happened with that and other things are disappearing. I think the nature of the procedural generation and the way that the world can reset in various ways. We talked about how with New Game Plus, some things change. Without getting into specifics, some things can change. I think that nature of things not being as permanent has led to this happening. And hopefully they figure it out. Because I don't want the game to reset my belongings or things I own midway through the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I had done a couple of really quick little tweaks to Batosai's ship
Mm-hmm.
in the neon parking lot. And when I took off, my one ship stayed on the landing pad and the other one took off from inside of it. So it was the same exact ship in both places, but it was very startling when I first saw it starting to happen.
Ray out there duping ships.
But yeah, it was gone.
Goodness. Well, that's some of what it's done. But I mean, I've played so much; it's hard to get into. But I would say one exciting thing that I found this past week in Starfield that I didn't know was out there. So just jumping around, exploring, getting in ship battles. I was actually going to do a quest, and when I jumped to this planet, there's a couple of ships there, a couple of spacers. I'm like, oh wow, one of those ships is huge, like a battle star size. Like, what are these ships in Star Wars? The really big ones.
Star Destroyers.
Star Destroyer size. It was huge. I'm like, what is this? And I, they started yelling at me, do not come any closer. You'd better leave. And it was legendary starship Blatodia, or legendary spacer ship Blatodia, it was called. And of course, I saved the game and didn't take the advice because I'm like, yeah, let's see what these spacers do, huh? This thing was huge. I had to try it. And I go zooming in, and they all turn red on me. And it's got this giant ship and then 3 side ships. There's like a level 12, a 14, and an 18. And the ship itself is like 35, 40. But I mean, it's as big as like the UC Vigilance, for those who know. And it was such a awesome fight. But I wanted to try to capture it, Ray, because, I'm like, yeah, this is what I've been doing. I capture ships now. It's what I do. You, Sully, or a bunch of friends are into that. So you can't, there's no option. If you do get it down to where it's almost dead in the water and you zap its engines, you won't get the dock option. So I took it out. It was worth over 1,000 XP, like 1,200 XP. I'd never seen anything like this. This is 200 hours into the game. I'm finding this new thing. I went and looked it up, and apparently there are 3 legendary ships in the game. There's one for the Ecliptic, one for the Varun, and one for the Spacers. The most difficult one.
There's one for the UC too.
Oh, right, the Vigilance, but you don't actually fight that one because they're.
Well, no, this is a separate one. It's one of the battleship fights.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's awesome.
Now I don't know if that only comes if you have, if you've joined the Crimson Fleet. Or I mean, it may replace the Crimson Fleet one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've definitely seen that one too.
It just seems cool. So looking them up, it seems like the most difficult one, I think they said, was the Ecliptic one. But these things, they have so many hit points, and it's a fantastic fight. It reminded me of the mod that a lot of people use in Skyrim. I think it's called Legendary Creatures, where you get like the giant mud crab and the giant. And, there's like one of each of these like really special, unique creatures. That was fun. So that was what I wanted to share. That this far in the game, obviously I haven't even been everywhere yet, but you just keep finding things. You never, it's funny that you don't see it all. Now, the random encounters. I mean, I've come across the Valentine singing his songs 7, 8 times now. I've met grandma and tried her meatloaf like 4 or 5 times. Like, I am seeing this stuff. Like, there are definitely repetition in the random encounters, but then new ones slip in. Yeah. And there are more to come. I finally did the Mantis too. I really cleaned up a bunch of quests. That was kind of my goal the last week and a half. I'm like, yeah, Jess, come on. You got to stop just tooling around. Oh, and I hit level 50 last night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, the other one that there's a lot of are the dead in the water ships.
I haven't done many of those. Only like 2.
Where you board them, and each one has a story. There's a reason why they're these ships are the way they are, and there's a huge variety of those too. Some great great stories. Just don't drink the orange juice.
That'll make more sense when you get there, kids. Yeah, I've seen a few, and there's some on the maps I keep meaning to check out. It's either like hostile encounters, or it just says a lot of times it just says ship, and you don't know if it's an occupied ship or an abandoned ship till you get there.
Yeah, yeah. The abandoned ships are the ones that I've been having the most fun with.
Oh, yes. Silly Or mentions ones where he got a distress call and they were attacked by giant insects. Like there are a lot of random encounters. And like I said, repetition, but I know there are lots I haven't seen yet. Yep. There are so many cool locations too on planets. I was talking about it a bit on GameStack earlier, and I went on a little bit too long, but the way the game works, it's not about landing on a planet and just exploring. Like it's Skyrim. It's not about just jumping out of your ship and exploring. It can be. Surveying's fun. If you love dungeon delving, you'll find dungeons, but after a while, some of them will repeat because there's maybe 25 or 30 like different types of dungeons that they have or styles. And so they'll start to repeat after a while if that's what you're doing. But all the points of interest on the planets, they've all got something going on. So the exploration is finding planets, checking them out and checking out the points of interest. And then when you're there, you can explore from that if you want. But there's so much to see. Like if I was just to play the game only exploring points of interest, which is a lot of what I'm doing, that's 100 hours worth of content there too. You got this guy's island. You've got mech graveyards. You've got just so many things, farms that pop up, and each of those lead to something. So I've really found that you are rewarded for exploration, but it's a different kind of exploration. You got to check those points of interest.
Yep.
But that is me, Starfield, a little Redfall, a little Fallout. And it's been a ton of fun. You guys, I can't stop. I'm so addicted. But Ray knows.
Yeah. I just checked and I'm 410 hours. Ooh. So I'm slowing down a lot.
My God. I'm 220 down on my save. Like that. Wow. Wow.
I think you doubled last time we talked. You played 200 hours in the last 2 weeks, Ray.
I think you broke 300 2 weeks ago, but it's another 100 at least.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing that I thought about when we were talking about it, these random encounters. So one of the skills that Batosai has is the gymnastics. And the first level of gymnastics is really easy. You just jump off the roof at the Atlantis spaceport and take fall damage, and that gets you the first one. But the second and third, you have to kill enemies in 0G.
Mm-hmm.
And the only place I had ever been that had 0G is that ship that has the oscillating gravity.
Yeah, the one behind the moon area that you can find that goes on and off. Yep. Yeah. And so I mentioned the Almagest to you because you hadn't been there.
Right. I had looked it up and it said it was a casino. So I immediately thought it was like the Red Mile.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the casino in there. That's not what I want. But you mentioned it. I went in and checked it out, and sure enough, it is a casino. It's abandoned. It was full of spacers, and it's all 0G.
Very floaty.
So that got me through the first stage, and then into the second one. But I still needed to find another location, and so I was jetting around, looking for any opportunities, and finally came across. I was starting to get a little loaded up with inventory on my ship, so I needed to stop and get sell some stuff off. And there was a trade authority space station, and I thought, oh sweet, okay, I'll unload some stuff here. I get in there and find out it's a 0G quest, and so that was all I needed to get the third rank of gymnastics.
That's great that you found a way to do that. That it seemed like the zero G was where do I find them all? But that's at least 3 specific locations where you can.
Yeah.
And then, of course, sometimes random spaceship battles. I feel like I might have seen zero G spaceship battles more than most because of the fact that I was almost killing them dead before I got in there.
Yeah.
So once you take out the grav drive and everything, they sometimes lose gravity.
And Batosai has 0 tech skills. So all he can do is blow ships up. So it was definitely nice to finally because I was starting to get worried. I'm like, where the hell is all the 0G? I mean, they've got a trait, that makes you more efficient in space. Well, where are you supposed to use that if, nothing is 0G? But there, definitely is some stuff out there.
It's funny. We've played so many hours of Starfield. We've gotten so far. We've done so much. And yet only one of us has finished the game, per se. I mean, air quotes, finished the game.
Well, and I'm purposefully not.
Yeah, same here. Although I get there, but yes, I am referring to you, Andrew.
Yeah, and Andrew's that's Andrew's game style. He blows through. I remember when we did the Oblivion Roundtable.
He beat the Oblivion at level 2 or 3.
He's already, gone through all the gates and.
You blew my mind. You're like, I don't know how to level up, guys. I just kept playing.
Yeah, just why? You don't need to level. If you play on easy mode, you don't need to cash in perks. You don't need to level up. You don't need any of that stuff. You can just keep playing like you're playing.
You found a box to drop your loot and go.
Yeah, just go, man.
Oh my goodness.
So, sorry, you have more gameplay you want to get into there?
Yeah, that was it.
We are all good. We want to hear about your time. That was my segue to you and your time in Starfield and such.
Yeah, what she's hinting at is, I blew through the game and I have become Starborn.
There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds.
I totally blew your mind. So when I was playing a couple weeks ago, I was having the trouble that I couldn't get past the certain space battle because I had found a way to just sort of skip all the space battles before that. Like I just, fast travel away real quick, and I never was required to actually engage into any, aerial warfare. Is it still aerial if it's not in the air, if there's no air to be?
No, I don't think it's astral either.
Cosmic space battles. So
very psychedelic.
Yeah. But I just couldn't get past this one. So like that caused the whole thing of me needing to go improve my ship. And then all the frustration I was feeling with that, cause I couldn't quite figure out the building stuff. But anyway, finally
2 weeks of Starfield, 2 weeks of that nonsense.
Finally, with enough, Jess and Ray slowly holding my hand and talking me through and saying, no, Andrew, write this list. Like I wrote a list down and I went step by step and I finally got, the appropriate engines and the distance of light years that I needed to be able to jump and blah, blah, blah. So I got everything figured out. And then I went and did the space battle, and it wasn't nearly as hard as I was, the first time, like I showed up once and then they blew me up and I couldn't get back there again. So then I needed to go like find a different ship and prove blah, blah. So I don't even know how I got there the first time, which was very confusing. And so, after I improved the ship, I went back, did the space battle thing and, took care of those guys. And then, finished the game like 15 minutes after that. And I was just like, wait a second. I had zero clue where I was in the game. I didn't know that last space battle was the last space battle,
Close. Now, I mean, you can, of course, choose at that point to do certain things or continue playing the game.
Yeah. But, credits rolled and I was like, whoa, really? Already? But then, I don't know if this is getting too spoilery or whatever, but the game starts again. Have we discussed that at all yet on the show?
We haven't, and it's a little bit spoiler to get too into it, but once you complete the game and the credits roll, you can keep playing like any Bethesda game, or you can make a choice. Make a choice that will start your new game plus. And you did that.
Yeah, so things are different now. they're the same, but it's totally different all at the same time. It's crazy. So I'm not encouraging anyone to rush to the end just to figure that stuff out. But if you have already done it, just like we do the scorecation shouts, I will start giving Starborn shouts whenever you guys finish. The game.
Need to
get your Starborn shouts here, guys.
I thought you could have Mo record one and then put it over top of that music.
I should have him sing some Starman. Oh, I'll get him a Ziggy Stardust costume for Halloween.
We'll get there. Jerry's been Starborn 6 times already.
Oh,
Few of our friends,
Lord,
2 or 3.
Jerry.
It's the thing where you can get addicted to it. Like once you start doing that, you can then kind of rush it. So it only takes a couple hours per time to get there based on the things you can do. But, there are a couple ways to approach it. Because some people are just so amazed by the way it changes the game. They're like, well, what does it do again? And it's not the same every time. It can change different ways, different times.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that from conversations and just sort of the way they were presenting it. I was like, oh, this could easily become a thing. You could just do this over and over and over just to see, oh, how's it different this time? How's it different this time? Exactly. So Jerry is already, well on his way to, if you do it enough times, you might come back onto the original self and meet yourself and, do a Back to the Future style of, if you cross yourself in your own past, how does that affect that other person's future?
I think those questions are part of it, without getting too deep into it. But Jason is in chat, Green Dragon. He mentions he's on his New Game Plus 4 now. So he's done it 4 times.
Good Lord. You get 4 of them, buddy. 4 Starborns. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, Jason. Congrats. That's 4 Starborns for you, buddy. Perfect.
I feel like I'm at a casino there. Just keep hitting the jackpot over and over again. Like, yeah.
Feel like you're at the casino where they're floating you money, Jess.
I didn't say that one on the show. I was too ashamed, but I put it in chat. Yeah, that casino will really float you money.
Oh, so good, so good. Yeah, so
you can win the jackpot.
Jackpot. I air quote finished Starfield, but you guys are right. I was playing a different game than you guys. You know what I mean? Like, I did not touch a side quest. I did not, I have 16 unused levels, whatever, I'm playing on super duper easy, so nothing's a real challenge. And, I didn't invest in shipbuilding or, God, I almost called it plantation. What are the outposts called? Is outpost building, stuff like that, so there's all sorts of aspects to the game that I have not, researched or played with at all. I just, beelined it straight through the story. And then, that was the last I played, was almost 2 weeks ago now. And I haven't actually put it in again since. But, again, as you've heard a lot over the last few weeks, if you listen to the show, I had a new job. I'm still acclimating to that, the new time schedule, blah, blah, blah. I just haven't found a good time to play video games yet with the new job. I'll figure it out soon. You know what I mean? Like, it'll have to return back to being a predominant activity in my life. But a lot of it's like, I'm working more days a week now, which means I have more time at night, but I'm, instead of, playing video games with that a lot of the time, Mo and I are like watching Halloween movies and stuff, so I just haven't weaseled back into the video game world. But I'll
Great
get
time of year for Halloween movies.
Oh, it's so good, so good. We've already watched, Nightmare Before Christmas, and there's a new Goosebumps TV show on Disney Plus that, like, I'm, Goosebumps in the 90s, it was good and nice and scary, but it was a little bit cheesy or whatever. And this one I'm like totally into. It's really fun. Justin Long's in it if you like him, so it's very entertaining so far. I've been enjoying it. But anyway, let's see. What other gameplay stuff have I gotten into? I posted in the group the other day. Oh, hey, the icon for Fallout Shelter Halloween stuff has loaded, but I just kept loading in again and again and again, and I just couldn't see a Halloween quest line. Like usually when they load up the icon within a day or two, they'll load in the quest line, and then you can go get your, if Halloween, your ghost costumes, or Christmas, you get your Santa outfit and stuff like that. But it was just like, I feel like it was almost a week, and I was just driving myself nuts. I kept logging in, looking for my ghost costumes, and they just wouldn't show. But finally yesterday, the quest line popped up, and I'm up to 3 ghost costumes now, and I forget if you get one of the skeleton costumes or not, but they had a skeleton costume guy and everything. And then I was like, I cannot remember if this is the same exact quest that they do every year, or if they change it forever. Like, I think it's the same one over and over, and I've just always had a new vault every year, I think. I'm trying to think, have I done this every year since 2015 or whatever that it's come out?
Probably not, because I feel like they skipped a few holidays. We talked about how they hadn't had an update for a good 2 years, then got back into it.
Yeah, so, I've gotten, my couple of ghost costumes, having a good old time with Fallout Shelter. That's really the big thing is, trying to keep people level 1 and get them trained up in all of the specials without them going to a different room and start leveling up. And I just 2 days ago found the Endurance 7 outfit, which is the one you want in order to, whenever anyone levels, you want to put them in the highest endurance suit that you have. And 7 endurance boost is the highest level there is. So if you keep them at level 1, get them the highest endurance possible, and level up all of the special stats, and then start leveling up the character, that's how you get the maximum hit points for your super babies. Got the 200 dwellers and the survival vault. I've only got about half of the possible weapon recipes and stuff, so there's still lots of weapons to collect, lots of outfit recipes. The quest lines, there's still plenty of quest lines to do. I'm surprised about how much content, how much time there is yet to be spent in the game. Like keeping all these guys, I've probably got 10 or 12 dwellers that have all the special stats maxed out now, out of the 200. So, there's plenty of time that will need to be spent to get them all up there. And especially in survival mode, because if a rad scorpion attacks, he can easily take out a whole room of people, and then you're like, well, fuck. I got to start over with all these guys and get their strength all back up to 10. It just sucks when you're like, oh, you're level 1, so you're not very strong, but you've got a really high intelligence or something, and then this rad scorpion comes and wipes out the whole room, and you're like, fuck, that was a week's worth of people leveling up that rad scorpion just took out.
Since you got a max level vault, and we celebrated that fact for you a couple weeks ago, maybe just stop playing survival mode. Like, is there anything more rewarding about survival mode than regular at this point? Like, we found that in other games, but in Shelter,
it's the fact that I'm still gutting it out is the benefit of it. It's like, I kind of joined a new Facebook group of people playing Shelter, and they're posting all their cute little vaults and stuff like that.
there
and
are others.
Yeah, there's other people still playing Shelter, and there's some people who are in that group who are just like, "Hi, I'm new to Shelter. I just downloaded it the other day. This game seems fun."
That's wonderful. That makes me so happy to hear.
Wow. And they're like, oh no, I didn't know there was a max dweller thing. And oh, what happens when you have all the pregnant ladies and you've gotten to level 200? And then I post a picture like of the woman being mad, like, we can't start a family now. There's no room in the vault. They're like, oh no. So yeah, playing lots of Shelter every day just because, it's easy. laying in bed at night before falling asleep after work. I said I'm still trying to balance the new work schedule and stuff. Shelter's just really easy to load and play for a few minutes before bed or whatever. So that's
good way to get that Fallout in. Yeah, keep it going.
That's my primary gameplay recently. But I do want to hop back into Starfield, start busting the elbows out, rubbing them around, getting a feel for all the side quests, do the flight simulator thing, getting better at flight, space battles, getting better in the ship builder, start doing all the random encounters and side quests and that sort of stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But other than that, that's a lot of my gameplay there. Oh, no. Big story is that Moses and I went out shopping today. And when we were out shopping, at the store we're at, they have the little video games set up in the games section where you can, try out games and everything. And I saw, oh wow, there's a new Super Mario Bros. Game called Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and Mo and I sat in the store for like 2 hours to play this new Mario game on the little display thing. So it's super fun. It's a side scroller style like the old Mario games. Mo really likes the 3D ones where you all run around crazy, but I'm still partial to the old style side scroller platformer games. But so we had a really good time just standing in the store playing that, and kids would come by and look at me, and I'm like, what? Get out of here. What are you doing?
You ever seen a grown man play Mario before? I mean, hey, it's our generation's game. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
We lived it.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm not even sure if it's out yet. And I looked in the game case, and I didn't see it in the case, so I don't think it's for sale yet.
It should be October 20th, so like a week and a half. We were talking about it on GameStack earlier, Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Yeah. It's the first one with the new voice actor. It's not Charles Martinet who's been Lions.
I actually did notice a difference. I don't know if they were do your own thing, man, or if they were trying to mimic an exact, because when
I think it's a mix.
When Kermit the Frog changed, you could really tell. You know what I mean?
Oh, you could very tell. Yeah, I feel like you can tell less on this because I listened to some of him, and it's a very similar style, but it is a different voice. Yeah. So it looks really fun. And for those who have been like, oh, I played New Super Mario Brothers, I'm tired of that style 2D. It's kind of between that. It's 2D, but it's got a little more modern aesthetic with some really creative stuff happening. It reminds me a little bit of some of the Kirby games recently, like Kirby's Epic Yarn, that kind of thing, where it's a little bit more. It's got a family-friendly kind of creative vibe, but there's some really unique looking levels. Yeah. So how much did you get to play? Was it just the same level over and over, or?
No, it seemed like the full game, and Mo and I got 3 or 4 levels in, and before I was like, okay, Mo, we can't be standing here in the store playing this game this whole time.
We live here now.
But I bet you tomorrow he'll be like, Dad, can we go back to
go to Auntie Anne's and get us some cookies? We're having lunch.
Exactly. Go get a pretzel at the
Exactly.
Oh, but yeah, had lots of fun playing Super Mario Wonder. So everyone check that if you like those old Switch sort of mimicking the 2D platformers. Really fun stuff. And that would be my gameplay. So let's go ahead and check in what's happening with some iguana bits. We'll get some iguana bits before we do a Fallout topic.
Sounds good. I mean, iguana bits are a very Fallout kind of centric topic anyway. This week, let's see what we got. So pulling up the calendar, there's Norfin on the calendar for October until Scorched. So Scorched, coming to a wasteland near you on October 24th. That is a little over 2 weeks on a Tuesday.
Okay.
Wait, no, that's 10 days. I can't math. That is a week and a half on a Tuesday. So the Scorched are coming in. That's going to be awesome. They last, as we said, for 2 weeks. So the 24th until November 7th. Before then, we also have the Bombs Drop anniversary.
Oh, right. So that is... So what is the 13th? October 23rd, right? Is the bomb? So 10 days from now.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, the day of the bombs drop. And, sometimes they do stuff for it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes there's announcements. Sometimes there's a couple of events. So I think they're going to do a couple things for it between the shop and maybe a few fun activities. But speaking of which, there will be fun activities all month because of the fact that we're coming up on Fallout's 76's fifth anniversary. This is technically the 26th anniversary of Fallout. Last year was the 25th, as you guys might remember. But this is the fifth anniversary of 76. So I've talked before about how we are planning an event for November 14th. When that happens, it's going to be a fun parade and some events happening. But all this month, Bethesda are also doing things, just kind of bringing the community and hear from people about various things. So I talked about it a little bit 2 weeks ago, but just to kind of bring it up again, they're looking for Fallout 76 stories. So if you want to join the Bethesda Game Studios Discord, there's a section there where you can drop your Fallout 76 stories. What does 76 mean to you? What's a cool memory in the wasteland? If you like writing things out, you can type that in and submit it. They actually, something I didn't mention 2 weeks ago that was just added, they are also looking for a picture, not necessarily a picture contest, but the pictures, and they will feature a few of some of your favorite moments in 76 in pictures, which is worth 1,000 words, I'm told. Also, they're doing a spooky shelter contest all month because it is Halloween. So instead of regular camp creations, or in addition to, because I think they're also doing anniversary camp creation submissions, you can submit your spooky haunted shelter. And this is all on the official Bethesda Game Studios Discord.
Very nice. I did see a couple days ago was Fallout 1's anniversary. It must have been the 26th because you said it was the last year was the 25th. But so it must have been released in October or late September or something like that.
Yeah, it was late. I think late September. When is Fallout? Is it officially like September 29th, maybe? I'm now forgetting. I'm sorry. I'm so ashamed.
It was not too long ago. I saw the anniversary post on Twitter or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So very cool. It's this time of year for all of the Bethesda games except for, Oblivion. A little black sheep Oblivion out there in the spring. Actually, a number of the older games were more spring, but everything recently has been fall or winter.
Why is that? Just Christmas sale season? Video games do better this time of year because of that sort of thing?
For the longest time, I think it was holiday sales. That's what worked. It was kind of bombastic. Starfield breaking that trend a little bit with the, September release. Because, for the longest time, it was all October or November, and more November than not.
Listen to her, guys. She's actually thinking that the release date of Starfield was planned to be when they actually released it.
we know Starfield Day is and forever will be 11/11/22. I marked it that way on my calendar. It will forever be.
That got booted a couple months and then booted a couple months again, and it was almost a full year after the original release date, right?
It was worth the wait, but yes. Can you imagine? That's kind of a little thought exercise sometimes. Can you imagine if we got the game 11/11/22 and the difference it might have had 9-10 months earlier compared to what we're playing now?
What were the functions that they performed over those last 10 months? I mean, the game was probably pretty much done. They're doing all their fine-tuning and stuff by that point. But if we get it at that point, are people going to treat it like the illegitimate stepchild like 76 was? Are we getting all sorts of like outrageous gamer rant articles about how terrible Starfield is and Bethesda's losing their touch?
Well, I doubt it would have been 76 or even say like New Vegas. It probably wouldn't have been any more polished than 4 and maybe less. Like, I think it's fair to say that this is still, despite the issues popping up, the least bug-filled or issue-filled release from Bethesda Game Studios, possibly ever, certainly in a long, long time.
I don't know that I've come across any super duper obvious glitches or, I haven't seen people walking upside down or floating or I've seen a couple of clipping things, but that's basically it. I mean, I haven't seen a ton of super duper obvious mistakes like, when 4 was released, when Piper would bend a certain way and you're like, ooh, are you a gymnast? What? Your hips are dislocated. What happened?
been some oddities, but I mean, that's the thing about the difference in time. I mean, when we got Starfield, when it released, it was like 1.7.1, version around that. Like right now, I think it's 1.7.33 or something with the 2 updates patches we've gotten. But yeah, they're like 1.7.1. So think about what that polish was. I mean, if we got it that last November, I imagine we'd be looking out our window, our windshield of our starship, and we just like see random NPCs just kind of like walking in space, just like spacewalking. I can picture that. I can picture right now we've got NPCs like interrupting conversations or talking to someone and giving you the crazy eyes. Which, by the way, I've seen less crazy eyes the past week or two, so I think they might have kind of stealth patched that in the last patch too. Nice. A lot less crazy eyes NPCs interrupting things.
Yeah, you guys were earlier talking about zero grav fighting, like you needed to in order to get a certain or there was a perk specifically for zero grav fighting. One of the coolest scenes that I found later on in the game, there was a building where someone kept like turning it on and off, so you couldn't really predict when you would be floating or not. that was one of the more memorable scenes in the game. So that was
if
really
gravity
fun.
was working differently. I mean, now that they have variable gravity with so many variables in the game, I'm sure that's harder to keep steady too. Like sometimes now, like I'll get a bug where I might shoot someone, and if I'm in space, their body will just like slowly float in. Even though gravity is active, the body will just like drift down like a leaf ever so slowly. Things like that. Grubs in space, says Cosmo. Absolutely. Also mentioning had to delay until enough PCs could run it. And that's true too. The longer they wait, the more people there are with freshly built PCs or, better specs out there to run the game. But yeah, I think we would have had a lot more of that discussion. So, well, I'll never say I'm glad it was delayed. I'm glad it was delayed. I guess I will say.
Oh, now you get your 9.5 out of 10 gamer rant rating, Jess. So.
Yeah, which I appreciate. Although, let's be real. The actual Metacritic on Starfield is like, 8.6 or 8.7 on PC and like 8.4 on Xbox. It's mixed but good. I mean, I say that, but Fallout 4 is an 84. So it came in a little bit higher than Fallout 4. Although there is the commentary Steam rating on Starfield. Have you guys heard about this? You probably have, right?
Uh-oh. What happened?
The
I don't pay any
Steam
attention
rating
to it.
The Steam rating for Starfield is the lowest of any Bethesda game because it went below Fallout 76. So I don't know the exact number. It's like around 70, 71 upvote percent because they work on a thumb rating. So would recommend, wouldn't recommend. It's basically like a, 2A thing. So is that like 71% recommend? And it's like half a point below where 76 has ended up. Now that's 76 after all the improvements and time, and the fact that 76 didn't release on Steam until Wastelanders, so it missed the whole first year and a half of when people were really angry, getting any negative ratings. But that's just a case of, once again, there's all kinds of reasons it's happening. I mean, there are people who genuinely do think the game is a 7 or don't love it, no doubt. I think a lot of them will come around over time, even though the majority of people who are Bethesda fans seem to really, really like it. So I hope they do. We talk about it a lot.
Are you giving it a 10?
No. There's this thing that some people have been doing lately, which is kind of funny. The objective subjective thing. They're like, it's probably a 3 out of 5 game, but it's a 5 out of 5 to me. So I would say Starfield, probably a 4 out of 5 game, but it's a 5 out of 5 to me for sure. I'd give it a solid 9. I think I would. And there's all kinds of reasons for that. The issues with the way inventory system and the way the maps work and some of the UI that could be, in my opinion, better. But it's also possibly one of my favorite games I've ever played. So
out of the gate, any game you've ever played, what was, your absolute favorite that blew you away? I know we already discussed which one you played for the longest. What was the one that like really caught you out of the gate? Is it Starfield? But you already kind of knew what to expect with Starfield because you played so many Bethesda games.
Right. We knew we'd like it. We knew at minimum, no matter what happened, if they released the game that they plan on releasing, we would like it, and maybe love it.
Yeah, and sandwiches too. So I mean, there's that.
I don't know. I mean, my favorite game of all time. I mean, that's such a hard thing, right? I could pick a Civilization or Alpha Centauri or a Skyrim or Fallout 4.
Always said 76. You've that has been your the last 2.5, 3 years is say your favorite. 76. It's just
my favorite Fallout game.
No, your favorite game just because the community and like all the friendships made and the videos.
I don't know if I put a definitive favorite game of all time, but I did say it was my current favorite game. Yeah, for Fallout games and stuff. Right now, is it still? I don't know. Fallout 4 might be nudging it again. It might be slipping a little.
Fallout 4 over Starfield? Come on.
No, Starfield's number one, but that's recency bias, right?
It's got to be, right? But who
I
knows?
mean, we'll see.
Maybe it has
Time will
staying
tell.
power. When are DLCs going to start dropping? Is that like a year out? Months out?
Mm-hmm.
Something?
Months out. Yeah, we don't
Months
know
out?
yet, but I expect months out.
And, I got the DLC packs or whatever, and I haven't even played a side quest yet. I need to get out there and play a couple of other things because, like, when they load in the DLCs, I won't even realize if it's new or not because I haven't experienced enough of the side stuff that's going on in the game.
We're still finding new stuff. Ray and I still finding new stuff all the time. I mean, this whole conversation is pretty silly, giving it a numeric score because we're not a review show. But how do we feel about it? I mean, Ray, favorite game you've played yet? Is that No Man's Sky? Skyrim? Do you have one? Can you choose?
It can't be Skyrim because wizards are stupid, right? Remember?
No, I found a couple of cool wizards, but
that guy that just falls from the sky.
It's too hard.
It is. Thank you.
I mean,
you would say Stalker or your submarine game, right?
Well, but I Fallout 4 would be a hard push. New Vegas.
True.
You've probably got way more hours in 4 than New Vegas, though, right?
Oh yeah, by a long shot.
But that's not necessarily what makes them the best.
Right.
It's like Minecraft or any game you can put all kinds of time in because you're creating it. You're part of the content, but it doesn't mean it's your favorite.
Mo and I've been playing some tandem Minecraft together too. That's been really fun.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I
we
haven't played Minecraft in a couple of years.
We need more Lego games. Speaking of stuff playing with Mo, we need a new Lego game.
The thing is, they have already licensed most of the cool, movie franchises like Star Wars and Marvel and DC, and it's like we need Hollywood to make more cool movie franchises that are more than just one movie, because those Lego games, they need 3 movies to make one game, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, because they don't get into the cutscenes so much. It's the action of the game, but you need way more content in the movies with which to make those the game. You need 3 movies in order to make one Lego game.
But they made them before. I mean, even before they got that deep into them, there were smaller ones. But I'm thinking back. You're right. Lego Indiana Jones, that's a 3-parter. Lego Harry Potter, obviously, like 7 parts. Lego The Hobbit or Lego Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there were 2 Harry Potter games, like years 1 through 4, and then 5 through 8. There's the Hobbit games, that's 3 movies. There's the Lord of the Rings games, that's 3 movies. The Star Wars, they did the prequels, then the original trilogy, then one game for episode 7. But they didn't do 8 and 9 at all until they did the complete Skywalker saga, which is 1 through 9.
Which is just brilliant, by the way. Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga. It's not just the old games redone. It's all kinds of new stuff.
It is. I was assuming that it was going to be just putting all 9 games, but no, they've totally redone the whole thing. It's not the same game at all. It's really fun.
Yep. In the last 5 years, they've done DC Supervillains, they've done the Lego Movie 2, and they've done Skywalker Saga. But here's the thing. Okay, you're talking about movies and stuff. Well, maybe a nice long TV show would be good enough fodder to create.
I never even really thought of that.
from. And maybe a fantastic franchise, like say post-apocalyptic setting, new TV show coming out, large fan base already. They can make a Lego game of that.
Fallout Lego.
Yeah, Fallout Lego. Let's
you
go.
mean the Silo Lego? Of course.
I mean, seriously, Vaults. How Lego are they?
Sharknado, the Lego game. There are
Wrong
like
choice.
5 of those.
Post Lego Stranger Things. Can you imagine?
There's
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Did you say 7 Sharknado movies, Ray?
I think there's 7 Sharknado movies.
I think I quit after the second one. Silly films. Silly. Enjoyable.
That is
Stuff to laugh
a
at.
lot of movies. So I just want to wrap up the Iguana bits real quick. Got a little off track, but yeah, all kinds of stuff happening this month, and mostly about you submitting things. So if you are interested, check out falloutbethesda.net for more details, or even better, go to the Discord and check out what they're doing. However, the PTS came out. So I had mentioned last show that they would be doing Atlantic City on the PTS on the 3rd.
Oh,
and
sweet.
It's out. And yeah, we are able to play at least the first part of Atlantic City.
Is it similar to the other expedition, style-wise?
So there is more to it. It is a setting you can go to, like the pit. You do travel to get there. It's already a little bit larger in the world, and there are multiple casinos and locations you can go into. And in these casinos and restaurants, there's stuff to do. There's NPCs to talk to. It's definitely a little richer already than the pit. And this is just the first half. They're saying a lot of the actual story stuff is yet to come, and the quests they want to add to it. But there will be, I believe it's 3 basic quests to start. So instead of the pit having 2, I think it's going to be 3. I'm still fuzzy on some of the details. Only got to play a little. Actually, I mostly watched other people play. To be honest, I did not install it. I just was going through with a friend, watching them play and asking questions. But the casinos are functional. You can actually play a number of casino games, which is really cool. How we've got like the little ponies in your camp. There's a large version of it, and there'll be a large version you can win on the scoreboard. But there's a number of casino games. You can actually play roulette and, bet and win. And it's just good to have all that functional, like in New Vegas. They did release 2 dev diaries on it. So I mentioned those were coming too. There are 2 dev diaries. They are up again on the fall.bethesda.net and also on the YouTube at this point. So Boardwalk Paradise is what they're calling it, Atlantic City Boardwalk Paradise. And they go through and they talk about the design of the casinos, the different games you can play, some of the NPCs you'll meet. Pretty exciting. And also the history of Atlantic City. So we'll discover that, but there's some lore there, of course, which is awesome. But beyond that, there will also be a new cryptid. And if you guessed, Atlantic City, Jersey Devil. Yep, that looks like it. So we're going to get a Jersey Devil battle in this, which I'm excited to see how they implement that and, what that's like. So it looks like a lot of fun. And we'll know more. It's coming out December 5th. So we'll get in there ourselves soon enough to really see. But I get desperate, I'll install the PTS. But I don't know. It's one of those where, kind of like the pit, I wanted to know what was coming, but I wanted to experience most of it when it happens,
Yeah. Why do you
I don't mind spoilers, but it's better
Why
to
do you
jump in.
think they chose Atlantic City as a new location to go to?
Well, proximity. If they did a new location, it needed to be somewhere that was, navigable or kind of nearby
Kind of
to
nearby.
West Virginia.
I just pulled up the map. It is over 500 miles from Charleston, West Virginia.
Really? Okay. Well,
to
I mean,
Atlantic City.
yeah, the real map is a little bit different, but you have DC, you have Atlantic City. Like, I would think it's kind of nearby in the way Pittsburgh is kind of nearby.
Yeah,
And a little further than Pittsburgh because you got almost the whole
Yeah.
length of Maryland
Yeah.
between.
Pittsburgh's a few hours, and it's 8 or
Yeah.
9 to
Okay, it's a
Atlantic
gambling
City.
location kind of nearby because I think they're also harnessing the popularity of New Vegas in a way. I mean, like, what would be
okay.
a fun location? Get some gangsters, get some gambling, get that kind of feel, and so I think it goes hand in hand with that.
Okay, that sounds good. I like a good boardwalk, so this could be fun.
Yeah, it looks really cool. They put a lot of work in on the art.
And we'll be out by the ocean, so maybe a Sharknado will blow in and make Ray happy.
So I mentioned I would go over the new rewards in Iguana Bits too. So I'll do that real quick. So there will be a Halloween challenge for 2023 during the sports event. I don't know the exact dates on the Halloween challenge part. Probably be like you get 2 weeks to complete these things. But there'll be daily challenges such as, once again, trick-or-treating for candy bowls, giving out candy, killing 5 spooky scorched, all the usual. Weekly challenges, rewards are going to be a new skeleton suit, but not the white and black glow-in-the-dark skeleton suit. This is going to be like a gray and blue glow-in-the-dark skeleton suit.
Whoa.
It's kind of reskinned. There is a hood to go with, so like the one you already have, but in different colors. And there is a Mothman nest. So if you complete both weekly challenges, you're going to get a Mothman nest, which has Mothman eggs, and it looks really spooky.
Will you get a Mothman to visit your camp? That'd be fun.
If you get it with you, put that down, that would be great. In the new reward checklist, so all the old rewards are still going to be there in the spooky bags. But here are the new rare rewards. You can get a couple of gas masks. You get a bear gas mask, a gazelle gas mask, and a rooster gas mask, which just sounds bizarre.
What? Gazelle?
Yeah.
What the hell does a gazelle have to do with West Virginia? That's hilarious.
Probably going to be putting horns on it. You know what I mean? Just like one that looks like a bear. Rare rewards, they're doing a number of paints, but let's see. We got plans. Giant red dinosaur.
Oh, like the green one?
But red.
Nice.
Hellfire version 2 prototypes. Honeycomb decorations. So honeycomb paper ghost lanterns, jack-o'-lanterns, spider lanterns. So you know the little kind of cool honeycomb Halloween decorations you can hang from the ceiling?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like that. Something called a rad Skull Rider helmet. So a new helmet to see. And also something called Dr. Bones. Now, I haven't seen a picture of this. So I don't know what Dr. Bones is, but maybe he's a life-size skeleton. That would be cool.
Hopefully he's one of those 12-foot ones you can get at Lowe's right now.
Yeah, exactly like that. So just a number. It looks like there's a good 12 to 15 new plans between costumes and rewards on top of the old ones. And if you still have any spooky treat bags left, which it's doubtful you do, but if you have a side character or someone who's got a spooky treat bag, if you open it now, they should be active. You should have a chance of getting one of the new plans because it was in the update.
Oh, that's fun.
Mm-hmm. And that is it for my bits.
Yo bits. All right. So we have this is a Fallout podcast, everybody. Might not seem like it the last couple months, but we do like to discuss some Fallout topics here. So Jess, did you have a Fallout topic that you thought might be good for a little bit of a discussion on the show here?
So I don't know if the guys prepped for this at all, but here is my my idea for a topic that we can do over the course of a couple episodes. We don't need to do all games right now, but I wanted to hear about some favorite quests, but maybe not the ones you're expecting. So if I name a Fallout game, but we're going to eliminate the most common answer, okay? So I was curious, like Fallout 3. In Fallout 3, do you have a fave quest or story bit, but you can't say Tranquility Lane? Now, to make it easier, I can start. And I am shocked and flabbergasted that Sillior just put the one I was going to do right in chat right now. So yeah, the Stealing Independence quest line would be mine. There are a lot of fun quests in Fallout 3. But the one where you go after the Declaration of Independence for Abraham Washington, you get it in the museum with Abraham Washington in Rivet City. And he sends you out, he collects stuff for his museum. He sends you out to get the Declaration of Independence from, is it Arlington Library that it's at? Or the National Archives? I can't believe I don't remember.
Isn't one of them at the Arlington Cemetery? Some of the stuff that you pick up?
So you have to get, right, that's what it is. You get the supplies to be able to forge Declaration of Independence if you go that path from the library. So yeah, no, you're going into the National Archives and was where you're going to find the Declaration of Independence. So when you go in, you meet this character, Sydney, who was the previous treasure hunter he hired, and she's running into trouble. I just really like Sydney as a character. I thought she was a fun companion. I thought it was a really kind of cool maze, going through the archives to find things. And then it has some neat stuff as you get to the end, because there's old displays, you find other relics and such. And at the end, you run into Button Gwinnett from there's Protectrons who were there talking about the exhibits and all that. And when you get to him, you can find a couple of ways that you can get this, such as you can, kill him and all the robots and just take it. You can forge a copy of the Declaration of Independence, and that's why you would go to Arlington Library if you did that. And trick the redcoats. You tell them you're going to trick the redcoats, which is Abraham Washington. Hilarious. And he'll create a forgery for you. And then I think, let's see, you can also convince them that you're Thomas Jefferson. There's all these different paths you can take at the end, which is really fun. So it's a good dungeon, fun characters. I like Sydney, and I wish you'd keep her as a companion. There are mods for that, but she's great. And after all that, you get it back and you take it to Abraham Washington. So I just really enjoyed that quest as a fun one. Do you guys have any that you remember or stand out from Fallout 3?
My answer, and this is seriously only because of Fallout 4, I thought it was awesome in Fallout 3 when the talk of the Institute came up.
Yeah, the Replicated Man. That's another good one.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to be able to tell you the name or the context, but I think it started happening in that big boat that is sort of half falling apart,
Yeah, Rivet City.
Rivet City.
Yeah, and it's Dr. Zimmer.
Right,
who,
yes.
AO is the temporary replacement for Zimmer.
Right, in the Synth Retrieval Bureau. Or Synth Retention Bureau, sorry.
So that sort of thing just sort of makes me think, okay, were there any seeds there? Was this supposed to be something more in Fallout 3? Were they laying there's zero chance that they were laying out this groundwork because they knew this was going to be the main big baddie in the game 12 years in the future. You know what I mean?
It might have been. They might have been deciding at the time that there was a chance they would use it as a seed. You know what I think is more likely? And I don't think I've ever heard this stated. But if you look at the DLC they did for Fallout 3, a couple that travel different locations, and obviously Operation Anchorage taking you away, maybe they were laying the seed with the Replicated Man, Zimmer, Harkness, all that one of the DLCs might have been, an adventure about what is this institute, more stuff about androids, as they were calling them at that time. And then they went other ways, but they kept the idea in their back pocket, and that grew into Fallout 4. If they hadn't already said, maybe our next Fallout game will be, the Commonwealth, maybe that's how it started.
Very much could be. How about you, Ray? Do you have one you like?
One?
Or 12?
I mean, there's so many, certainly doing Moira's quest, the Wasteland Survival Guide.
Yeah, she's kind of quirky a little bit, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
God, I love her. When I was first coming with this topic, this idea a couple weeks ago, and we did a different one instead, that was the one I was going to pick at the time. But I changed my mind tonight.
So the Ant-Man and Mechanist.
Oh, yes.
Shoot. You
At
pick
Canterbury
it up
Commons.
in Canterbury. That one's always fun.
That is Superhuman Gambit is the name of the quest.
Okay.
That's a good one. There are so many. I mean, those Oasis, there are so many great quests, but I just want to pick one. And I know a lot of people will go to Tranquility Lane first. So I'm like, no, you cannot.
That one sticks out just because it's so weird. You know what I mean? You teleport back in time to a different place, and
black and white, stabbing your friends. Your dad's a dog. It's pretty bizarre.
Absolutely.
So, do you want to do one more? Do you want to talk about New Vegas or 4, or do you want to save that for another time? Let's just do it. Okay. New Vegas is going to be hard for you, Andrew, without any prep, probably.
Yeah.
So
it's
Fallout
again,
4
I could be
quest.
Like, there was that one
and
time that one thing happened, and
Fallout 4 quest, and you can't say the USS Constitution. Last flight of the USS Constitution.
you know that's Ray's. Come on, that's unfair.
Maybe he's feeling targeted right now.
That's okay.
So-
You didn't say the other one.
Okay, go ahead and say the other one then. Let's pick it.
So the Cabot quest line.
There you go. I thought Andrew would probably take that one too. Yeah. What is the Cabot quest called?
I think there's a series of there's like 3 or 4 quests in the whole thing.
Imogen takes a lover.
Yeah, that one. Yep.
But yeah. So outside of the USS Constitution, most of my favorite quests have to do with the quest reward at the end.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And so it changes, with different characters. If I'm playing a melee character, then I'm going to, when I go to Good Neighbor, I'm going to talk to Hancock to get the quest to go to the Pikmin Gallery, and then go there and get Pikmin's Blade. That one, that's always fun. And you got to remember to do Hancock's part of it first, so that you can get a little extra cash on the side. So it kind of ups the overall reward.
Yeah, he encourages you to go.
Yeah, and then you find a note on a body in the first room that you go into, and that quest is done. So, but yeah, Cabot's always good because I like to get the mysterious serum. I after the first time where I sided with Jack, and got Jack as a reward. I mean, you get this stupid Zeta gun.
It's a gamma gun or something, right?
Yeah. It was so lame. So from then on, it was Lorenzo all the way. So you end up with a huge stack of mysterious serum, and then you can go back and get more if you use them all up.
Perfect for so many circumstances too.
Oh, huge.
It's
going in the
it's
glowing
wonder drug.
sea, in your underwear. You can do it with mysterious serum.
How about you, Andrew? Do you have one?
Well, I always think it's very cute how they went out of their way to record special dialogue options for the Silver Shroud quest. Like anytime you do anything where they get really into the voice actors get to ham it up a lot. I think that's always really cute, really fun. They can do that. But one of the sort of surprising quest that was sort of annoying because it was so hard, but still I felt like had a really cool end was the Big Dig. And then you find out that there's actual historical references to the Big Dig, and that there was a real thing in Boston back then.
A very real thing. Yeah. Using that name was clever.
Yeah, so it's a really fun quest. It starts with what's her name? No Nose, right?
Bobby No Nose.
Bobby No Nose. Yeah. She, a ghoul, of course, the whole No Nose thing. But
it's fun going back and forth, starting that, doing the dig, reaching stuff, having to go spring the guy from the jail. There's a lot to it.
There's a lot of good steps to it. Yeah, that's a really fun one. Gosh, those are both Good Neighbor centric too. I just realized that Good Neighbors is where it's happening, man.
Yeah, you guys each did 2. Which is cool. But that's good. So I'm trying to think
yours?
How do you wanted to pick long neck Luke? Because I was actually thinking Big Dig would be one you wouldn't choose. I figured someone might do Silver Shroud. I kind of want to say long neck Lukowski's Cannery because that was so interesting. But let's go with Here There Be Monsters.
Oh, the submarine, right?
Yangtze.
Yeah. Yep. finding the
Yeah.
Yangtze, finding that kid Donnie who's like staring out, like there's a monster, and you're going in, no, there isn't, and you're going to investigate, and then you find the monster, and then the captain and everything you do with that. That was a surprising quest line because I didn't expect it at all, and it was very different having one in the water like that and actually dealing with a Chinese ghoul. I thought that was really cool.
Oh, I always like the Norwegian thing too. It's not really a quest, I don't think.
It's
but,
just flavor, but
yeah.
it's cool. It's cool. I mean, so much of the game is cool.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Yeah, and like Ray said, a lot of my favorites also have to do with what I know is the carrot at the end of the stick as well. Like, oh, I like this quest. Well, do I like the quest or do I like the Deathclaw gauntlet I get at the end? You know what I mean?
Do I like Krem's tooth? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Do I really want to kill all these raiders for Krem's tooth? Oh, yes, I do.
The Dunwich Boars is another sort of really odd, different quest with flashbacks and all this stuff. That's really very a different flavor of the normal quest in Fallout 4 too. So that one always stands out too, right?
I just thought it'd be fun to hear which one you guys maybe referenced first if I took out like the one that we most commonly say on those. So
I didn't know you're going to go game by game specifically, but if you have to pull out the best Fallout quests of all time, it's going to be stuff like the horsemen. God, I can't remember what they're called. No, I'm not going to be able to pull it out of my head there. You
were going to reference the shelter quest, weren't you?
Yeah, the Fallout shelter quest where they're like...
Lose your head. Best quest of all time.
Yeah,
the game show Gambit with Lose Your Head.
The Horsemen of the Apocalypse. That's like that's like each one has a bunch of quests, but there's like 3 of those together. One for pestilence, one for hunger, and one for, death or war, whichever. And they're really long quest lines, and they each have really funny, Shelter's so much different because they have to rely on, quirkiness and sort of comedy and stuff in order to keep your interest in them at all, just because there's not a lot to the actual combat and exploration. So they have to have like, funny comebacks and stuff with the quest line. So, but yeah, so I really enjoy the Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Started in Shelter with the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, then available in the Atom Shop as Power Armor skins in 76.
Exactly. Isn't that silly? So funny.
It's the best. Well, awesome. Those are some fun quests, y'all.
Yeah. We'd like to hear from you guys. Tell us some of your favorite quests if we missed out on something that you always try to hit up when you play a game. Write us an email, send us a voice message to the Fallout feed at gmail.com. Love to hear what you guys have been getting into. And, guys, we sort of finished the Roundtable not too long ago, but we are missing your voices already. So if you just want to tell us a little bit of what you're doing in gaming in general, be it Starfield or whatever, go ahead and send us a little a little voice clip for us to play on the show. We'd love to hear what everyone out there is getting into, what kind of trouble you're getting out there among the stars.
We need to turn it into our Baldur's Gate 3 podcast and get Will on about that, because that boy is deep into Baldur's Gate 3.
And he actually owns an Xbox and is ignoring Starfield altogether? Is that right?
He's excited about it. But I mean, only a couple huge games at a time. And Baldur's Gate 3 is just scratching that itch for a lot of friends right now. Talking about it a bit in I did a new channel that used to be Mass Effect and Cyberpunk, but is now All Games Central in the Discord. People can just talk about everything else they're playing because, hey, we do.
Yeah, we're not following any rules at this point. Yeah. All right, you guys, what do we have on the docket now? I think we just got a shout on our way out the door. Jess, did you pull a special little excerpt here?
Yes, you mentioned emails or comments from listeners, and we love to hear what you're playing or what you're thinking about. Just let us know what you're up to. If it's Fallout related, bonus kudos to you from me. Thank you for that. Andrew encouraging people to be off topic in their emails too.
Yeah, just whatever. Bring it on.
But this was a fantastic comment from Calm Horizons. So Calm Horizons is a Discord member and a listener. And they were talking about catching up on the Fallout feed the other day. I know they play a lot of Skyrim, but I've recently been on a Fallout kick, and so catching up with the show. And he had this to say. So I finally got some earbuds that I can go running with, and I popped on an older episode of the feed to keep me company on my jog this morning. I've been working through some old episodes I missed, and I'm on 396. The show opens with a beautiful song, Surfing in the Wasteland, and I really enjoyed it, which is rare for me. Usually takes a while for me to warm up to songs I don't know. Then, after that, Andrew explained what's up, and I had to stop running for a minute. Anyway, thanks everyone for putting on a great show and for being a wonderful community. Always a joy to be here, and I appreciate it.
And that's very touching to me because the person who wrote and sang that song, my friend Michelle, I was just playing around with that song earlier tonight because tomorrow, as I explained back in episode 396, she passed away recently from brain cancer. So we are getting together for a small memorial service tomorrow at our old college stomping grounds. So tonight I was sort of tinkering around. I just played that song, and Jess was like, "Oh, we got someone who actually said something about that in a post." So she read me the post, and I just thought, oh, how serendipitous and touching everything the world can be all at one time. So
It really can.
yeah, thank you so much for that post and that message. Really hits home. Go hug your loved ones, everyone, and appreciate the ones that are close to you in your life, because who knows how long any of this can last. So
Yeah. We all have our fights and everything, hold on to your loved one tights. And thank you, everybody, for being a wonderful community. People say that, and I just say thank you.
one of the things that we did in college is we all played music, and podcasting has kind of sort of come into my life to fulfill a lot of the same roles that rock and roll music did back in college. Like, we had a group of 10 to 12 people who were all best friends, and we all were in each other's bands, and whoever wrote the song was their band. Like, if and whoever wrote the songs for then that was their band. But it was still all made up of just the same group of people. Just people switched instruments, and whoever wrote the songs, that was their band. It's kind of like how our podcast, most of us are all on these same podcasts. It's just whoever is leading the podcast or whatever, that's the Fallout show or the Skyrim show or the the soon to be Starfield show, and you know what I mean. So it's a very similar aesthetic to this podcasting community that we're into, that my sort of my group of rock and roll friends were in back then. So
I get that vibe. Absolutely.
But it's just a really nice community, and so we're getting nostalgic and reflective, and the memory of Michelle and all that. But Michelle and I, when we wrote songs together, she was also in Red Queen Hypothesis. She played trombone and guitar in Red Queen Hypothesis, which is the band that I have continued on recording music after college. But when Michelle and I wrote songs together, we were the Avocados. So tomorrow, during our memorial service, we're getting together to bury some memorable items in Michelle's honor. And I am taking an avocado seed with me as my item to put into the little vault thing that we're going to bury for. So I thought that was a little nod in her direction, a little avocado seed. So that'll be my big contribution. Not that an avocado seed's big or anything, but you know what I mean. All right, so we do have a couple more shouts on our way out the door here. So these people look like they have earned themselves a little bit of a shout out from Mo. So, hey, Angel, congratulations.
Scorecation!
You got to the end of the scoreboard. Also, Captain Canuck.
Scorecation!
Congratulations. And Solior. Wasn't this weeks ago for Solior?
Scorecation!
A week and a half.
Week and a half. All right. Well, I guess it has been a couple weeks since we've recorded. So, congratulations to all you guys for hitting the end of the scoreboard. Got your scorecation earned up. So, answer me this. Did Angel's download to Starfield ever finish?
Oh, God. Legend has it.
Has she been able to start
She's still
playing
downloading
yet?
in the year 2330. No, I hope so. God, I hope so.
She was just like, I'm still downloading you guys. Everyone's been playing for
It
a
was
few
because
days.
of the update. You know, she has the game installed, but yeah, she went to play and the update.
She was so shocked. It's like, yes, it's finally downloading. Let's go play. Starfield needs an update. No! Oh, tragedy. So congratulations, everybody, on your...
Scorecation!
Mo honors you. All right, do you guys have anything else you would like to discuss or cover before we sign off for the evening? Then in that case, you can find him over there for all your No Man's Sky needs at BBCISSS, which is the butcher, baker, candle maker in space, and at Ray LB. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
You can find her at Dames Who Game, also at Sleep is 4T, and on the recent episode of Game Stack. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on.
No place I'd rather be.
I can be found at Indie Android, and the show is at The Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of The Fallout Feed. We will see you in the wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
Yes.
Black and white, stabbing your friends, your dad's a dog. It's pretty bizarre. The giant. This thing was huge. I had to try it. They're kind of thick. I got a nice rack. Everything but
Punch a grub.
the grubs.